The sport of motor racing has captured the imagination of generations worldwide. From its roots on tracks built for horses to the modern purpose-built ovals of the present, dirt track racing remains an intrinsic piece of Midwestern American life. The participants represent a cross-section of our local communities, where drivers of all ages and from all walks of life test themselves, their machines, and each other to their very limits each Saturday night. And that tradition continues now at Randolph County Raceway.
Glad to have you on board with us here tonight. The 22H of Dustin Hodges just past the flag stand. The young driver just making a move up to that tough 800 division this season. And the 92 of Steve Robinson behind the wheel. That one just going in this here on the front stretch as well. But plenty of time before we get the action getting going here tonight. I'm going to get you a nice cold bottle of light back to the concession area. The Speedway, welcome out. Restrooms and concessions located behind the bleachers along with A to Z photography. Working your way down towards turn number 1, the south end of the bleachers. The Racing Shack. We're ready to get you fixed up with the goodies down there as well. Well, the 73.
What can you tell us about the USRA as a sanctioning body?
The USRA is stands for United States Racing Association. What they are is a sanctioning body. They're pretty much worldwide anymore. Mainly they started in Iowa, from what I can remember. They originally started as the USMTS Touring Series, and then Todd Staley, the owner, they kind of advanced it from there to start to take on weekly tracks for sanctioning bodies. What they do is they have different sanctioning classes that they sanction at certain tracks, and then from there they put up the sanctioning body themselves. They put up the points fund money for the tracks. The tracks, we pay them a fee for the sanctioning side of it, and they pretty much take everything else from there. We follow their rules. They dictate what we do, but we also dictate our own rules too at the track.
What made USRA the right choice for Randolph County Raceway?
We kind of evaluated the location where we're at. USRA is more popular in the state of Missouri, where IMCA is more north in Iowa. We were kind of on that borderline. Toward the other sanctioning body, which is UMP, which is over on the Illinois side, they're more of a high dollar type class sanctioning. So with the drivers that are around the area, we just kind of thought USRA was a better fit than the other two sanctionings.
All right, if you could run through the 6 classes, just some basic details about each of them.
All right, the RCR 4-cylinder Hornets, they're not a USRA sanctioning class, they're a track sanctioning class. All it is just, if you see them on the tracks around here, they're a 4-cylinder stock class car. They have to be front-wheel drive only. They can do some modifications to the car, but not a whole lot. They have to have roll cages in them. Then our next class up from that, which is hobby stock, which is sanctioned by USRA. It's basically a everyday rear-wheel drive stock car you can buy on the street, convert over to a racing car. It has to be a 9-to-1 compression type motor. They've got certain intakes they have to run, certain tire sizes, and 2-barrel carburetors. Then the next class up from that is the stock cars. They're pretty much overgrown hobby stock pretty much. They can, motor-wise, they can go bigger motors. But along with that, they have to have different carburetors, different intake manifold type deal. They can run the wider wheels, and they can run the American racing tires on them also. And then from there you go to the B mods, which is a USRA sanctioning class. They run 9-to-1 compression motors, or they got the GM crate motor, which is pretty popular anymore. And that's why we kind of picked that class for here. It's more of a low dollar budget modified type car. They run 2-barrel carburetors on the what they call the claim motor. And then the crate motors, they can run their 4-barrel with the crate type motor, because it's all 9-to-1. They're probably pushing 400 horsepower to 450, some of that area there. And then they can run spoilers on the back. The bodies look pretty much the same as the modifieds, except the best way to tell them is some of them, the sail panels are a little shorter. Wheelbase and all the cars are virtually the same as the modified. The modified class is pretty much an open class. They can run pretty much any size motor. With the motor comes a weight rule. It just depends on what their horsepower is what the weight they have. The suspension, they're open to anything. Most guys run 4-bar suspension nowadays. Quick change rear ends. A lot of the high dollar, good equipment stuff which lasts, helps, makes the safety wise too part of the track. And then our late models are sanctioned under ULMA, which I'm one of the co-founders of. What we did was, late models were kind of disappearing, what they call dinosaur ages back in the time, and we wanted to bring it back, so we came up with a low budget class, which is our class is a 23-degree steel head motor type deal, kind of like a B-mod type deal, but we only you can build your motor wherever you want, but it has to have 23-degree stock heads. We only run one certain tire, which is the Hoosier tire, the D55, which is a hard compound. Kind of puts everybody on the even playing field that way. And it's kind of popular. Like I said, we've been around for about 7 years, so it's growing slowly.
What has the reaction been from the participants? Because this is a new sanctioning body for for some of them at least.
The USRA side, some of the guys have already been in it. Our lower classes, taking a little bit for them to get adjusted to. The car count, we've got to get up on those. But the B-mods and the modifieds, them guys were happy with USRA. And the late model guys, like I said, they're pleased with the ULMA side of that. So.
Ben Ballard, 36 years old, started in Missouri, driving number 49 GRT late model, sponsored by Connie's Mobile Home Transport, T&K Roofing. That's pretty much it. Chuck's Auto Body, he helps us out more than I can say.
Scott Van Buskirk, I'm 51 years old, from Hedrick, Iowa, and I run a Razor chassis, and my sponsors are Mike Jasper, Dean Sylvester, my family, and Fire Coat Custom Powder Coating, and Vogel Dozy.
Lane Ellert, 25, from Springfield, Missouri, mechanical engineer by profession. Have a ULMA late model, 6th year in the class, and major sponsors are Fred's Mufflers, Charlie's, North Star Battery, FS Label, TNN Incorporated out of Forestell.
Cody Agee, I'm 18 years old, I'm from Moberly, Missouri. I run the 25 stock car. Most of my sponsors, Walker Automotive, Redhead Properties, AG Plumbing, that's a big one. Let's see, we got a Old Glory Ford sled, Randy Richard Race Engines, Nash Vegas Bar and Grill. That pretty well sums it up.
Tom Elson, 35 years old, hometown Shelby, Missouri. Races USRA B-Mod here at Randolph County Raceway. Sponsored by Joyce's Embroidery, International Eye Care Center, BK Concrete, Midwest Tire and Auto, Elson Seed Cleaning, DCI Graphics, and Collins Collision.
Now, as far as the amount of time that goes into preparing the car week in and week out, can you give us an idea of what your schedule is like, and how do you fit that in between the day job?
It's like having another job. It's just a night job. It's like going to the night shift. It's at least 20 hours a week extra, at least minimum. And it's more hours than that if you want to campaign a competitive car.
Yeah, I drive a truck for a living, and I own my own truck. It's CNS Trucking, and if it wasn't for the pit crew, it probably wouldn't make it here every week. We've worked on it the last 2 days. I've been home, but we had a little mishap after the checkers last week, so it's just all the time you got to work on it, it takes it all.
Oh, pretty well. We spend just about all week working on them. I mean, every night we will work on them a little bit here and there. If we get real energetic, we'll work on them about 5 or 6 hours a night, and we'll knock out most of them if we haven't had a bad crash. If we had a bad crash and we work on them more, you got to fix everything you broke. So,
what is it that makes that kind of time commitment worthwhile?
The rush.
Describe that.
I don't have words for it. It's that feeling you get when you know you're running good.
The win, definitely the win. I mean, my brother, he's been lucky enough to win all 4 this year, and I've been chasing him, but tonight I plan on getting it.
Well, we do it. You know, our kids come up and help, and it keeps family together. We're always up there. You can always find us at the shop, and it's better than the alternative. We're not going to be sitting at a bar spending money, getting in trouble. Everybody knows we're at the shop.
We've been talking to a lot of people about how it's really a family-oriented sport, and you're living it. You've got a brother out there on the track with you. How does that play out?
Pretty well. I don't race him any different than I race anybody else, but when it comes down to it, I'm not going to hit him intentionally, but if we rub, we rub. I mean, you know, we're not going to wreck each other on purpose, because at the end of the week, we got to go home and fix each other's cars. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so you guys then are the ones primarily are working on your cars in the week?
Yeah, me, him, and my dad pretty well. We got a couple other guys at the shop that come out and help work out.
What items in particular are you looking at throughout the week as you get prepared for the weekend?
Most time we're just maintenance. It's all maintenance. It's you know, checking this, checking that, make sure that everything's tight, make sure your motor's, everything's good in it. You don't want oil leaks or nothing like that. And then tires, that's a big thing. And you know, make sure you just got the right setup. We scale them every week, make sure that they're where we want to be, and so we can make them go around this track and be as fast as they can be.
Now, with that, the amount of time that you spend in addition to your job working on the car, that takes you, I would imagine, away from family and friends. How much support do you get from them to make this a possibility?
A ton. My father-in-law does a lot of the routine weekly maintenance, and without him, it wouldn't show up prepped for the track every week. So, and as far as the family life goes, you know, my wife is super understanding about it, my two kids, so it gets stressful at times, but it goes on.
How much time, or how long rather, have you been involved in this sport?
I've been involved with this sport as long as I was old enough to walk. My uncle started racing a long time ago, and we dabbled in and out of it. When I graduated high school, I bought my first car and been trying to do it ever since.
What is it about motorsports that really makes it such a family activity?
You know, there's something, you know, in my opinion, for everyone. You know, actually, I taught my daughter fractions, measuring on a race car, you know, and, you know, we go through and she sees the importance of mathematics, and she understands the importance of when we're reading manuals. You know, there's words that she doesn't understand that I have to, you know, sit down and explain to her, and it gives her a good grasp of how everything works and everything that her schooling involves. You know, something as simple as an old race car, and you still have to know the stuff and pay attention to it.
Well, changing topics just a little bit. As you're getting ready, the race is coming closer, the heat race specifically. What kind of things are you thinking about on the car that you need to make sure are just right where they need to be?
Pretty much, we try and get everything set up to where, in an ideal situation, you unload the car and you're ready to go to the racetrack. But you watch changing track conditions close. You know, there's always a tire pressure that you can adjust, or a bar that, you know, you could have moved. And it seems like when you're sitting in the staging lanes, that's when you really start thinking about the shoulda, woulda, couldas that you need to be done. But pretty much, you know, once you have a properly set up race car and you keep it in the ballpark, it makes it drivable. It's just a question, it'll be fast. It's a question of how fast is it going to be.
How you talked about the track conditions changing. What things are you looking for on your first couple laps out there?
When the first couple laps out there, the hot laps is the worst, because you know it's going to be greasy, and if they've done the track prep right, that makes it a little better. That you're gonna, you know how your car's going to act, because you've set it up and you know it's right. But when you don't know if there's a hole or there's a greasy spot or a dry spot, you have to kind of watch it and feel it out the first couple of laps, because when you get into a heat race or a feature race situation, you have to have a lot of confidence in your car to get to that first corner, because you can't slow down. You have to know it's going to stick and go.
Any particular secrets to getting around this track in particular?
A lot of momentum. Stay off the brakes. Easy on the brakes.
As for you, you mentioned you're not getting involved in the points race, but what kind of goals do you have each weekend and then for the season as a whole?
Really, we show up at the track, you know, of course, like everybody, we look for a good night, stay out of trouble. You know, if we can make it into the top 5, we're happy. You know, we do it for fun, and if we can take all our stuff home and it's not tore up, and not be in a situation where we had the unfortunate circumstance tearing somebody else up, I'm happy.
How much does that mechanical engineering degree help you out?
Quite a bit. It definitely puts it in a little bit different perspective. You get thinking about it a lot more. You're looking at stuff different.
And along those lines, what kind of things are going through your head as you're getting ready to pull out on track for hot laps?
I try to about zero it out. Just try to just think about it. And the car is how it is. It's going to run. We know it's going to run good. Like I said, that's why we work on it during the week. So just get out there and run it and think about what we got to do for the next round.
What kind of support group do you have? Is it friends, is it family, or is it just you working on this thing?
Just my friends and family. I had one of our friends take care of it during the week since I'm out of town most of the time until I get the car down to Springfield. And then my wife, my mom, my dad, everybody just kind of works on it as much as we can.
How do you approach a brand new track?
Really just kind of show up, and we got a base setup that we work off of just about everywhere, and after hot laps I'll know if I need to adjust anything from there.
When you meet somebody new and it comes up, hey, I'm a race car driver, what's their usual response?
You're crazy.
And what do you tell them?
So yeah. It's usually just kind of give you a little bit of a look, and they always think it's an asphalt or you do a NASCAR. It's no, just local dirt track, no bluegrass racing.
What brought you into the sport?
First job when I turned 16 was working in a shop that built modifieds. Started pushing them room, and then started helping with the bodies, and I had a car 6 months later.
How much fun is it?
It's a blast.
When something does go wrong in between weeks, or in your case, after you crossed the checkered flag or the start-finish line last week, how quick is the turnaround to try and get everything ready to go so you don't miss a race weekend?
I like to have it ready Sunday when I leave home for the week, so sometimes that don't always happen.
And you mentioned your pit crew. Is that some family that you've enlisted?
Yeah, it's a lot of family and good friends.
What is it about motorsports that makes it a family activity and such a close-knit group of friends?
Well, my dad raced, and it'd be 3 generations now with my boy, and it's just born in you.
So you said your dad raced. I take it you've been around racetracks and race cars then just about as long as you can remember.
Yeah.
How far back does it go?
Back to as long as I can remember, probably 12 or 13.
When you're getting ready for your first race of the weekend, or even for hot laps, what's going through your head? What are you making sure you're thinking about? What are you checking before you get out on the track for the first time?
I'm always thinking, did I tighten this nut or this nut, or it's just butterflies.
Describe the focus that it takes to wheel this thing around.
Oh, it's easy, but it's hard. I don't know how to explain it. It's just different.
Is it a feel thing?
Yeah, a lot of it's the feel of the seat of your pants to me. So.
Do you have a particular secret, whether that you would care to share or allude to get around this place quickly?
Yeah, it's called Razor.
Nice plug for the sponsor there. You're here pretty much every week, I think. So what kind of goals do you have going into each race weekend and for the season as a whole?
Of course, I always want to win. Finishing in the top 5 is a big priority. I'd like to win the points championship. So.
When you do win, how does that feel?
Pretty awesome.
Well, once you arrive at the track, you've I'm sure done most of your work already in the shop or in the garage, but once you get here, what kind of things are you working on, or is the car pretty much ready to roll out?
If the car's not ready to roll when it shows up at the track, you should stay home. When we get here, it's just unloading, check air pressures, make sure nothing, tires didn't cool off enough, with lost air pressure, get the helmet ready, get the tear-offs ready, just minimal stuff at the track.
Do you have a routine once you get here, and then especially when you're getting ready to get in the car for either hot laps or a race?
No, not really. I don't really have a routine. Just go. It's second nature. I've done this for, 10 or 11 years now, so it's just, I don't think about it. It's just there.
What drew you to the sport in the first place?
Jim Walters had a car, and when he was owner in this track, and he talked us into putting another car together. We came down here for the test and tune, and I drove a car test and tune, and it was on.
Yep, absolutely. Once you do get out on the track for the first time on a weekend, that's when the tweaking begins.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of things are you looking to change as you try and perfect the car before the feature?
Well, the way they've got this track this year, it changes quite a bit between the heat and the feature. So, and we've got a pretty good baseline set up. So, you're racing the track really. I don't race other cars. I race the track. I feel the track, feel the car, try to know what it's doing, and think about where it's not turning too much, if it's tailing out, and go from there and just try to download it all to my father-in-law and the guys back here when we get in.
Well, you talked about how much the track does change from the time the first cars hit it to the time the feature, the green flag falls off the feature race. Can you describe for folks who might not have experienced it themselves what kind of changes they are and how you try and identify them?
Well, if you just look at the track right now, it kind of looks dry, but they've got it prepped right tonight. It looks like it's going to be really tacky. It's not slick, slimy mud. It's going to have a lot of bite in it for the heat race. But as soon as you start getting the late models out there and the A mods, and they start blowing off that tack, and you'll start seeing the black stuff appear into the track, and you know it's starting to slick up. And usually at intermission, I'll go out and walk around the track or ride around the track with a screwdriver, and I stick a screwdriver in the track to see how hard the track's getting. You know, and you can really tell the difference between when it's getting that black look and places where they haven't run it. The screwdriver just falls in, and in the black, you can tell it's hard to push a screwdriver in.
When you come into a race weekend, do you set goals for yourself?
Yeah, win.
What's it going to be like when you do beat them to the finish line?
Oh, it's great. It's great all the time when you win. I mean, that's what everybody's out here for, is to win. And you know, he rubs it in every week, so you know, I get mine, I rub mine in on him. So, but absolutely, it's all, we mess with each other and we have fun with it. I mean,
nice friendly rivalry, you say.
Yeah, you know, nothing to get mad about.
Do you have a favorite moment racing with your brother?
We run side by side. If we can run side by side, if we could do that the whole race, that'd be pretty well the best race ever. That's an adrenaline kick, because I know he's fast, he knows I'm fast, and that'd be sweet.
So do you enter every weekend then thinking this is gonna, we're here to win?
Yeah, I'm not coming here to lose. I'm here to win every week, and he's the same way. He's got the mindset, you're here to win. I mean,
you're looking for the season points title as well?
Yeah, I'd like to have that. You get a brand new drive shaft for that, and that'd be nice. But yeah, and it's gonna be hard to beat his 4 wins in a row, but I ain't too far behind him, so we'll be all right.
You folks seem to have figured this track out just a little bit. Is there an AG family secret?
Not really. Keep her to the high side pretty well, unless you can't make her. But
what are you thinking about when you're getting ready to go out on track before a race? What's going through your head?
You keep calm. Main thing. I mean, you talk to yourself in the car. It sounds funny, but you do, and you just think about your first move coming out of turn 4 and going into turn 1.
When the final checkered flag falls and the fans file out of the stands, it isn't long before the racers' thoughts turn to the week ahead. Even for the lucky few who tasted victory tonight, the euphoria of victory is short-lived. Every driver will tell you that it's the countless hours of planning, tuning, checking, and rechecking away from the track that make the difference for the fleeting minutes spent on it. For more information on Randolph County Raceway, visit them on the web at randolphcountyraceway.com and find them on Facebook.